is immunity. Now, once you see the term immunity, definitely we are talking about the immune system. So the first question that persons should be asking, what is the immune system? What is the purpose of the immune system, etc. So before we go into all of that, then definitely what is immunity? So definitely it is the body's resistance to a specific condition or disease. So specific condition simply mean sickness. So let's say, for example, the coronavirus that is going around now, that would be a condition, and definitely it is a disease that is caused by a virus. Now the immune system, or the body's immune system, is that system of the body that is basically protecting you against this coronavirus. It is just that our immune system, it is not that good to defend the body against the coronavirus. That is why now it is important for persons to take the vaccine. So with the vaccine, what they basically do with the vaccine, that same virus that cause the corona disease, they actually put that in the syringe, in the injection that they actually give to persons. So basically, it is actually corona that they put in the vaccine. It is just that it is a weakened strand. So a weakened strand means that it is not the full dose. It is not the full blown coronavirus that they actually put into it. They actually put just enough to stimulate our immune system to actually produce some chemicals that are called antibodies. So once the immune system get the stimulation to produce these antibodies, then the antibodies that is produced by the immune system, that is what protect us. So naturally, the human immune system cannot produce the antibodies to destroy the coronavirus. So why the vaccine is important is simply because in the vaccine they actually put a dead or a weakened strand of the virus that cause the disease. And once they do that, then the fact that it is injected into your body, it actually stimulates your immune system to now produce some chemicals that are called antibodies. So the fact that these antibodies are produced, then that is how the vaccination, or that is how the vaccine protect the human body. Now, persons misconceptualize the whole thing, because when we talk about vaccine or vaccination, vaccine don't cure disease. Vaccine actually just give the human body a extra, or give the human body an additional chance of defending itself. So it basically protect you in comparison to somebody who is not vaccinated. Because when you're talking about diseases or any form of sickness, there's a difference between cure and treatment. When you cure a disease, you get rid of it forever. That means that it's not going to affect you again. But when you treat a disease, you actually get rid of it for a particular period of time, or if you should be reinfected, then it's not going to affect you as severe as how it would have affected you at first. So that's where some persons misconceptualize and say that why persons who take the vaccine they still would catch the virus. Because vaccine or vaccination, that is not a cure, and at no given moment the persons who administer or manufacture the vaccine, they would have mentioned that it is a cure. Because if it was a cure, then basically this virus would have long gone, but it is not the cure. Now, as individuals in Jamaica, once you're a citizen in Jamaica, there are some diseases that you're vaccinated against. So now corona is just an addition to that list. If you should take your or ask mommy or your parent for a card that is known as your immunization card, I'm sure that you're gonna see some different diseases on that card that you're vaccinated again. Measles will be on that list. rubella will be on that list. Chicken pox also on that list. So that is why you're not affected by these diseases, simply because you would have been vaccinated against these diseases. So that's why I find it strange, or it's kind of funny, why so many Jamaicans are saying that they are not taking the vaccine, which once a child is born, they have to take um, vaccine for several different diseases before they are admitted into primary basis or even high school. So it is basically the same thing. The vaccine for corona is just an addition to that list of disease that you would have been vaccinated for from that tender age. So once you're looking at the term immunity, then definitely vaccination will come out in some format in the lesson. So moving on to the next slide. All right, so the immune system. So definitely the immune system is another system of the human body. Just like how you would have the circulatory system, the nervous system, the respiratory system, the skeletal system. So your immune system is just another important system, very important system. Now, the first point I say in that the body's defense against infectious organisms and other invaders. So virus, fungus, bacteria, any of these organisms that actually go into the human body, this is the system that actually help you in terms of you getting better in terms of the sickness. So the immune system defends people against germs, defends people against microorganisms every day. Now, what I mean by microorganism, we're talking about extremely small organisms that you cannot see with your naked eyes. So let's say, for example, we're talking about virus, we're talking about fungus, and definitely we're talking about bacteria. So once you see that term microorganism, the word micro mean small. That's what microorganisms mean. This system comes into action once pathogens gain entry into the body. So the question that persons should be asking, what does the term pathogens mean? Now, pathogens are organisms that cause disease. So you need to write that somewhere in your notebook, because I'm quite sure that you're going to come across this term very often, which you need to know its definition, or you need to know what it is all about. So again, pathogens, these are organisms that cause diseases. So if I should ask you to give me an example of a pathogen, then definitely you should tell me bacteria, you should tell me virus, and you should definitely be telling me fungus, because those are three microorganisms that definitely cause disease. For example, the coronavirus or the corona pandemic, definitely it is caused by a microorganism, and definitely that pathogen would be a virus. So again, just scanning through these pointer. As for the immune system, we're saying that it is the body's defense system against infectious organisms and other invaders. So any organism that want to go into the human body to cause some form of harm in terms of health problem, definitely your immune system help to protect you. Because let's say, for example, you are being affected by the flu virus, are the virus that cause flu, then definitely your immune system will actually help to defend your body, help to protect you. So that is the importance of the immune system. So all the systems of the human body have their different functions. Your circulatory system, for example, have its own function, the skeletal system, the nervous system, and the list goes on in terms of the different systems that protect the human body. So the function of your immune system is to protect you against disease-caused organisms. The second pointer defends people against germs and microorganisms. I would have just given you examples of organisms that are called microorganisms. All right, continuing with content for immune system. It is made up of a network of cells. So definitely I will be asking you to give me different things, different components that make up the immune system. So cells, tissues, and definitely organs. Now all these three very important components, cells, tissues, and organs, in order for your body to get protection from the immune system, they are definitely saying that they must be working together. You would see in the pointer where it mentions cells, down there is a blood cell that is called the white blood cells. I'm quite sure that persons by now should know that we have white blood cells. So it is your white blood cells that definitely work with the immune system to offer that protection. So I can definitely ask you which blood cell work with the immune system to offer protection against disease or diseases. So definitely you should tell me the white blood cell. And we have two types of white blood cells, which definitely will be go into them. So looking at how the immune system work now, that's the heading you're seeing. Yeah, so looking at how the immune system work, foreign substances that invade the body produces antigen. Now looking at the pointer in detail, you see they say they have the term foreign substances. Now why they use that term foreign substances, or why they use the term foreign, is simply because by right these substances, they are not made in the human body, they are not manufactured, they are not produced in the human body, but for some reason they're actually able to gain entry to the human body. So that's why they are referred to as foreign substances, because they don't belong there, but definitely they find a way to actually enter the human body. It is just like you migrating. If you're leaving from Jamaica to go to the United States, some persons don't call the name of the country, they say them go foreign. So why that word foreign is attached to you going to the United States is simply because you're not a citizen there, you were not born there, you were not grown up there. That's not where you belong. You belong in Jamaica. But for whatever reason, you're going to move to that part of the world. Then that is why you refer to it as foreign, because you're going to somewhere where you definitely really don't belong, if you want to put it that way. So it is the same thing with these microorganisms that will go into the human body. They are referred to as, or they are called foreign substances, because by right they don't belong there. So foreign substances that invade, or if you want to say that go into the human body, they normally produce a chemical that is called antigen. Now the virus that causes the corona disease, or the pandemic that is affecting us, now when that virus got into our body, it is not the entire virus that is causing us to get sick or ill, The virus produces a chemical that is called antigen. So it is the antigen that basically affecting us. When you have the flu, the common cold or the flu, that illness is caused by a virus also, and the virus that causes flu is known as influenza. Now, if you're affected by the flu, when that influenza go into your body, it is not the entire influenza that is causing you to get sick. It is just the chemical that is produced by the influenza, which is known as the antigen. So all microorganisms that invade your body and that gonna cause you to sick in some way or one way or the other, it is not the entire organism or microorganism that is causing you to get sick. It is just the chemical that they produce, which is called the antigen. So the fact that antigen is known in the human body that would be produced by these microorganisms, now your immune system need to find a way to get rid of the antigen. Because remember, this is what is allowing you to get sick. The antigen that is produced by the bacterium or the antigen that is produced by the virus that would have invaded your body. So the fact that it is the antigen that is causing the problem, then definitely your body or your immune system need to find a way to get rid of the antigen, and we're going to look into it definitely now. So moving down to the next pointer. So they are saying when an antigen is detected, so definitely it is the immune system that will now detect this antigen. Several types of cells work together to recognize and respond to it. So this is now the immune system in action now. As remember on the previous slide, would have said that the immune system is made up of tissues, made up of cells, and made up of different organs. So all these components will be working together in an effort to now get rid of this antigen that would have been produced that by the microorganism. As for the corona pandemic, by the virus that caused corona. So again, for persons who are affected by corona, it is not the virus entirely that is causing them to get sick. It is the antigen that is produced by that virus that is causing you to get sick. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody respond and tell me that yes, they understand.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, great. No. When this antigen is causing you to get sick if you're affected by corona. Now, if your immune system can cure or can produce the antibodies to get rid of this antigen that is released from the coronavirus, then that would be good for you. So that definitely means that naturally your immune system is strong enough to produce antibodies to get rid of those antigen. And that is why some persons, they can be infected by the coronavirus and they don't have to go to any doctor. They don't have any signs, they don't have any symptom. And that is simply because their immune system is capable of producing the antibodies to get rid of that antigen. So not all human being immune system can do that. And that is why the doctors, or if you're reading or if you're listening to the radio or if you're watching a video, you will realize that they use these terms. They said that some person's immune system can strong, person's immune system can weak. And definitely whenever you're eating, there are some food that you can eat that will strengthen your immune system. So an individual who have a really strong immune system that is working properly, that person's immune system can naturally produce the antibody to get rid of the antigen that the coronavirus would have produced. So again, the antigen is what will produce by our release from the virus. Now your immune system, in getting rid of that antigen, will produce a chemical that is called antibodies. So we are looking at two words that start with A. It's just that you need to know the difference. So again, antigen is what is produced by the virus or the bacteria or the fungus that come into your body to cause that sickness. In the example or what the scenario that we're looking at now is definitely the coronavirus. So the coronavirus again will release that antigen. So the second point is now saying that the human body now need to detect this antigen and now respond to it. So if you catch the coronavirus, you're sick for a few hours or for a few days, and then you get better without even going to the hospital. That simply means that your immune system would have been successful in terms of getting rid of the virus by naturally producing the antibodies. And the antibodies now definitely destroy the antigen and also destroy the virus. So you might be that lucky where your immune system can fight it naturally. But guess what? Your neighbor don't catch it and your neighbor really sick. Have to go to the hospital, depend drip and all of these equipment. Now this simply mean that that person immune system is not strong enough, or that person immune system cannot naturally produce the antibody to get rid of the virus or get rid of the antigen. So that's how we are affected by this coronavirus. So some persons, their body or their immune system can produce the antibody, while for others it cannot. So again, the fighting chance that the virus give you is that without you catching the virus, so let's say for example, everybody that is online now, you have never catched the virus. You nor no doctor, no individual can do a test on you presently and find out if your immune system can naturally produce the virus. You're not going to know until you catch the virus. So if you catch the virus and you get better naturally, then and there you will know that, guess what, yes, my immune system is strong. So, but you cannot now say that, boy, my immune system is strong. If I catch me now, I'm sick. No, you can't determine that. There's no test that can determine that. So the only way you can know if your immune system is strong enough to defend your body against the virus is whenever you catch it. So if it don't affect you, then definitely your immune system would have been successful in terms of producing and releasing the antibodies to get rid of the antigen. So the fighting chance that the vaccine give you is that the fact that you're vaccinated simply means that they would have put something in the human body which would be a weakened strand of the antigen, because basically it is the antigen they put in your body, you know. But as I said, they are not putting the full blown, or they are not putting a strong one in your body, because if they do that, then definitely you will be injected with coronavirus itself. But no, that's not how they do it in the lab. They actually use a weakened one, a weak one. So when they put the weak one in the body now, what it does is that it stimulates or it initiate or it allow the immune system to now produce the antibodies in your body. So it's like when they give you the vaccine, once it is activated and start to work, your immune system basically produce some antibodies in your body and store it. So the antibodies is now waiting until you're infected. Or if you're infected, the antibody just right away start to protect you or start to fight against those antigen, because you would have been vaccinated. So the vaccine now cause your immune system to produce the antibodies, and the antibodies there is like the antibodies are weird upon the virus to affect you. Once it start to affect you, then boom, it start to work. It is just like back in the days, if we do something wrong as kids, and we go on the road and our parents they are yard and they know so we do something wrong, then sit down a yard with one piece of whip or one stick or a belt, lay wait if you come and give you some beating. So it's the same thing with the antibodies. When you get the vaccine, the human immune system produce some antibodies waiting for the virus to invade. Once the virus invade, bam, it actually give you that extra edge in terms of protection. So that's how the vaccine basically protect us. And of course, there are several reasons for persons not taking the vaccine. Some persons, because of their religion, they don't want to take it. Some persons, they're afraid of needles. Some persons are saying that enough research would have not been done, so they don't sure if it's going to affect them. Some persons said that it's going to prevent them from having babies. That means that it affect infertility. So there are several reasons why persons don't take it. But my issue is for the persons who say they're not gonna take it just because somebody tell them if you not take it. No, you must individually do your research, do your reading, and do the maths. Because for me, I think that it is a calculated chance. Because look at it. Persons are saying that yes, the vaccine kill persons, but just do the maths. The amount of persons that die as a result of the virus is way higher than the amount that the vaccine would have killed. So, in Jamaica now presently, every day 5 persons are dead because of the virus. I'm quite sure that when you hear the news, you don't hear 5 persons that, being killed because they take the vaccine. So that's why I'm saying that it is a calculated chance. Just do the max. Because I'm vaccinated simply because I look at it and I say, but if the virus I kill how much thousand every day and a vaccine just a kill few like every month or so, then you better me take the vaccine, me have a better chance. Because the virus is, because you have to look at it this way, saying that just say, all right, 2 things killing you, either the virus or the vaccine. So more persons are being killed because of the virus. So might as well I just take the vaccine and give myself a fighting chance. So we have several reasons for taking it or if I don't want to take it. All right, so let's continue on antibodies and antigen. So again, we have 2 A's that we need to know the difference: antigen and antibodies. Before I move on to the next slide, I'm just going to explain the difference between the two. So again, if you're infected by a virus, a bacterium, or a fungus, definitely those organisms will cause some form of disease or some form of health problem. But it is not the entire body of that microorganism that going to cause you to get sick. It is just a chemical that they produce, which is called the antigen. So it is the antigen that causes you to get sick. So once your immune system recognizes that the antigen is inside your body that is causing you to get sick, then the immune system now going to produce a chemical now to combat that antigen. And that chemical is called antibodies. So sometimes your immune system can produce it naturally, sometimes it cannot. Once scientists, doctors, and human being, medical personnel realize that your immune system cannot produce the antibody naturally, that's when they will give you a vaccine. And that's what they would have done with corona, measles, rubella, chickenpox. They realize that your body cannot produce the antibodies fast enough. So that's why as a newborn you're being vaccinated against certain diseases because of the danger or the dangers of these diseases. Basically, human beings don't want to take a chance. So they say, you know what, we're going to produce some vaccine and make sure that you're protected rather than waiting to see if your body can protect itself naturally. Because remember, you know, those diseases that you're vaccinated from a child, like rubella and measles. Some persons, if they catch rubella and measles without being vaccinated, it's not going to do them anything, you know. But as I said, you're not going to know if your immune system can protect you unless you're affected by it. But because of the dangers of these diseases, human being, we cannot take that chance. So that's why scientists develop these vaccine to ensure that we are protected. So antibodies are specialized, right? So definitely special proteins that lock onto specific antigen. So what we are saying is that for every disease that affect the human body, those diseases are caused by the antigen that is produced by that microorganism. So you see, for each of these antigen, your immune system need to produce a different antibody for different diseases. I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say, for example, you're affected by coronavirus now. It is an antibody that gonna actually allow you to get better by getting rid of the antigen. The next 5 months down the line, you're affected by the flu virus, which will actually cause because the antigen of that flu virus is in your body. Again, the immune system gonna produce antibodies, but guess what? It's a different type of antibody. So what I'm saying is that for every disease that affect the human body produce antibodies, but they are of different types. So what I'm saying is that the antibodies that help to protect you against flu is totally different from the antibody that protect you against the coronavirus. You understand? Mila?
Yes, sir.
Lati. Okay, perfect. Lewin, Lati, right, who that? Lee Wars. Right,
Yes,
see?
sir.
Okay, great. So in terms of antibodies, it is very important. Let's say, for example, measles. If you're affected by measles, if you're affected by rubella, if you're affected by chicken pox, all of those diseases, your immune system need to produce a different antibody for them all. That simply means that one antibody cannot get rid of all of them at once. All of them need their individual antibodies. It is just like a lock and key. You cannot have one key to pull all the locks. I mean, in your house or if you work at a business establishment, no. Once it's a lock and key, every lock have their own key. So it is the same thing with the antigen. Yes, you have some cheap locks where you can use one key to pull them, and that is simply because the manufacturer would have designed it that way. But once you're producing lock and key, you ensure that one key can only open one lock because of security reason. Because it would not be wise to have one key that can pull several locks. No, that would not be wise. So it is the same thing with antibodies and antigen, and that is why the first point I is saying that antibodies are specialized protein that lock onto specific antigen. So the antibody for coronavirus specifically was produced by the human immune system to cure that coronavirus and not flu and not rubella, not chickenpox. So that's what I mean by it. Antibodies and antigens fits together like lock and key. Now, if you're seeing the screen down the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you see that pink triangle. You see the pink triangle. Now, if you
Yes,
look at
sir.
right, see if you realize that a pink triangle, they have a yellow Y. You see the yellow Y. Now, if you look at the design, you'll realize that the Y can now fit exactly over the triangle. So they are giving you an example saying that the triangle. So for example, the triangle represent corona virus. So that would be the triangle will be the antigen that come from the coronavirus, while the Y will represent the antibody that would have been produced by your immune system. So as you can see, the Y can easily fit perfectly over the triangle. So that's how they are saying that the human body match up the antibody with the antigen. Now, if you should now try fit that Y over the blue section that look like a box, do you believe that the triangle will fit perfectly over it? Yes or no? Hello? I'm asking the question.
No, sir.
Right. So definitely the human body now would have to come up with an antibody now that can fit over the box. So it will actually form a shape that can fit over that box. So that's what they are saying. So they just use this to explain and tell you that every antigen that is affecting the human body it definitely, the immune system need to produce an antibody for them individually. So it's not like you're born with a set of, or your immune system just produce one type of antibody, and that one type of antibody get rid of all the antigens. No. Once the B lymphocytes, lymphocyte is one of the type of the white blood cell inside your body, recognize specific antigen. So specific antigen, they develop a memory for the antigen and will immediately produce antibodies the next time the antigen enters a person's body. So definitely once the immune system realizes that you're infected by a disease, by a sickness, then it will go ahead and now start to produce some antibodies to get rid of that antigen. That is why if someone gets sick with a certain disease like chicken pox, that person typically does not get sick from it again, right? Because if you're affected by chicken pox this year, simply because the immune system realizes that you're infected by chicken pox, it will always have some memory. So basically, it stores information inside the human body how to produce the antigen, the antibody for chicken pox. So if next year you catch it again, the antibodies to cure chicken pox would have already inside the human immune system, waiting for it to come again. So that's how vaccine also work. And even the flu, because if flu is going around and you catch the flu at the beginning of the flu season or the winter season, and it affects you for 2 weeks, if you should catch it again, like within the next 2 months, it's not going to affect you that long. And that is simply because definitely there would have been some memory inside your immune system. So the memory cell of the immune system store the information, telling the immune system to produce some antibodies to wait until you're affected by chicken pox again, and that will definitely cause immediate protection or give you immediate protection. The last point there, this is also why we use immunizations to prevent certain diseases. And looking at your immunization card, you will see the list of diseases that you're protected against by. So that is why, so you getting vaccinated, or if you see our smaller brother or sister and you realize that they have to go to the clinic, they have to go to the clinic for a very important reason. And that is simply because there are really some dangerous diseases out there where they are so dangerous, meaning that once you're affected by them, definitely going to cause death for most persons. It is just that some persons, their immune system will be able to protect them. But because of the seriousness of these diseases, then definitely they ensure that we are vaccinated against them. So in Jamaica, our health system, it is well put together, because there are some countries in the world where they don't have a proper health system where their newborns are vaccinated. In Haiti, for example, and some parts of Africa, that's why persons are always dying constantly, because their government don't set up the health system in such a way where newborns are vaccinated. But thank God, our governments, previous governments and present government would have been doing that over the years. And we take it so serious that if you're not fully vaccinated, they're not going to allow you in public school. Because what they are saying, let's say, for example, you're not fully vaccinated, then that simply means that you can transmit measles or any one of those diseases and affect other persons. So to prevent that, they definitely ensure that you are not allowed unless you're fully immunized. So that's why at registration, at primary school, high school, or basic school, they will ask for your immunization card, and it must be complete. If it's not complete, then you are not accepted. All right, so the immunization introduces the body to the antigen, and I would have explained that at first, saying that when I get the vaccine, it actually give you the antigen in your body, just that it will be a weak one. In a way that does not make a person sick. And I would have said that before, where I said that the persons who create the corona vaccine, they ensure that they are not giving you the fully blown, strong antigen that causes it, or else it will make you sick. They use a weak one. But it does allow the body to produce antibodies that will then protect that person from future attack by the germ or substance that produces that particular disease. So we can use corona for this example. So we can use corona as a disease. So again, if we're using corona as a disease or as the example, then the antigen would be a weak virus that causes corona. So they put it in your body. And when they put it in your body now, then it will cause or stimulate your immune system to produce antibodies. So yes, you will hear a person say that they're not taking the vaccine because of corona they are put in the body. Yes, it is corona, but again, it is not the strong. They are not putting a strong. They're putting a weak one. They are just putting one weak enough not to cause you to sick, but to cause your body to produce the antibodies to protect you. All right, so antigen, and I would have definitely explained antigen over and over, but definitely there's notes here to back up the explanation, where they're saying that antigen, this is a large protein molecule, usually on the surface of the pathogen. So pathogen again would be, for example, virus that cause lymphocytes, which is a white blood cell, to release antibodies. These antibodies now destroy the pathogen. So definitely once the pathogens are destroyed, then definitely there will be nothing to produce antigen to cause you to get sick. Antibody, so definitely I would have said before, you need to know the difference between antibody and antigen. I would have explained it over and over, but definitely the notes is there for you to read for clarification and definitely understanding. This is a protein produced by the white blood cells called lymphocytes. Antibody respond to an antigen. Right, so the second point I'll make it very clear. So antibody respond to an antigen. So again, from the coronavirus, the antigen will be produced by the coronavirus. Your body now respond to it by producing antibody. So the antibody get rid of, or the antibody kill the virus that will produce the antigen. Because once the virus is being taken care of, then there's no antigen. Because the virus is what produces the antigen. So once you get rid of the virus, then definitely you're going to get rid of the antigen. Because you're not going to have anything to produce the antigen anymore. Each antigen stimulates the production of the antibody that will destroy that antigen. And that's why I would have used the lock and key situation. So the antibody that cure or get rid of coronavirus is completely different from the one that will get rid of flu, different from the one that will get rid of measles, rubella, chicken pox, and the list goes on in terms of the different diseases that will affect you. All right, so we have covered the basic section in terms of the immune system, antigen, antibody. So we have a heading that is called types of immunity. I'm just gonna give you guys a few minutes break from the screen, and then I'm gonna move back into types of immunity. So 3 minutes thereabout from the screen, and definitely I will pick up back with the explanation for the types of immunity. So the next 3 minutes. Next 3 minutes or so we'll continue. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Right. So as for immunity, we have what is known as types of immunity. Now these types of immunity they are placed under two main categories. We have natural and definitely we have artificial. In terms of the natural immunity, this is basically immunity that the human body will born with. So here we have natural passive and we have natural active. So there's a difference between these two types of natural immunity. So from what is on the screen, they are saying that natural passive, this is when antibodies produced by the mother pass to the developing fetus across a section of the reproductive organ that is known as the placenta or during breastfeeding. Such immunity only lasts for approximately 6 months. So that is why breastfeeding is very important, and that is simply because it gives that newborn some form of protection in terms of immunity, and that is simply because the breastfeeding the milk it contain antibodies, because at that tender age, definitely the immune system of that newborn is not developed enough to protect that newborn from flu, from any form of disease. So if a mother is not breastfeeding her newborn, if there is a virus going around in the environment, that newborn will be easily affected by that disease simply because the immune system for that newborn is not developed, and also because there is no immunes, and so the fact that the newborn is not getting any breast milk simply mean that there is no antibodies in the body of that newborn because their immune system cannot produce the antibody, and the mother is not giving the newborn any breast milk, so definitely there is no way of getting antibody in that newborn. So the natural passive, that's what it is called in terms of immunity. And they are saying that it lasts for about 6 months. And that is simply because within 6 months after birth, then the newborn immune system would have been developed as of 6 months going onward. Natural active, this is an immune, this is an innate, I should say, innate immunity that is genetically controlled as it is inborn. Now, previously I would have said that some persons, if they are affected by the coronavirus, they yes they will be infected, but they are not showing any sign, they are not showing any symptom, and that is simply because their immune system would have some natural active immunity, meaning that they would have born with some form of antibodies that can get rid of the coronavirus. Right, so that's what we mean by the natural active, meaning that you will born with those you will born with those types of antibodies, so they are known as natural active simply because they would have been inborn, genetically would have born with them. So that's why it is natural. Now, why they would attach the term active to it is simply because these types of immunity they actually take some time to start to work, take some time to activate. So that's why they are known as natural active. As for the natural passive ones, the passive mean immediate. So the passive ones start to work right away. So that is why they say that the passive will work up to about 6 months. So the passive, it work quicker, but it lasts for a short period of time, while the active, it take a longer time to activate, to start work. But because they are active, they always working. So work through life basically. So those are two natural ones. And we have another natural one that is known as natural acquired active immunity. So this one again, it takes some time to activate. So persons who contract a disease naturally acquire the antibodies for the disease. If contract the disease in the future, he or she will naturally produce the antibodies. So as you progress in terms of your age, as you encounter different diseases, the human body naturally now will start to produce some antibodies because they would have acquired the chemical procedure, the chemical processes to produce these antibodies. So artificial immunity, so these are man-made. So vaccine now, for example, would be man-made. So the vaccine for coronavirus, the vaccine for measles, these immunity, they are artificial because they are man-made. So this is when a weakened pathogen is injected into the body. And again, that's what they are doing with the corona vaccine. They are injecting a weakened virus that causes the disease. This trigger, or you can say this stimulate the white blood cells to produce antibodies for the disease. So in the future, when you or when we meet the live pathogen, so whenever you're vaccinated now, looking at the third point, whenever you're vaccinated now, in the future, when you now meet the live pathogen or the live coronavirus, our bodies can destroy it before we become ill. So when you look at the third pointer, you will see again the importance of being vaccinated against the coronavirus. So because they are saying that starting from pointer one, right, starting from pointer one, where they are saying that you will be injected with a weakened pathogen. And the second pointer is now saying whenever you're injected with that weakened pathogen, this weakened pathogen now gonna trigger, it now gonna stimulate your immune system to now produce antibodies to destroy that particular pathogen, which would be the coronavirus. So the third point is now saying that if in the future you're infected or you come across your body interact or meet the live pathogen, the actual coronavirus itself, that can cause you to get sick, your body can now destroy it very easily because it would have been waiting for it, because it would have been producing some antibodies. So they use measles as an example there. Artificial passive. So artificial passive, this is when antibodies are obtained and injected directly into people suffering from a disease. It is only effective for a few weeks. So sometimes you might be having a running belly, you might be having some health issue, and you go to the hospital and they give you an injection right away. Now that injection definitely contains the antibodies itself. So when they give you an artificial passive injection in terms of immunity, this don't mean that the human body now don't have to wait for the immune system to produce the antibodies, because they definitely inject the antibodies inside your body. So this work faster than the artificial active. So vaccination that is artificial active, that means that they inject something in your body and it's gonna take a while for the immune system to start to produce the antibodies. But as for the artificial passive, it take effect right away. For example, you're having running belly and them have to give you injection. then that injection contained the antibody to get rid of that running belly or that disease that you're being affected by. So we have some very important note briefly, very important notes that you must know. Memory cells are only producing active immunity, right? So as a passive immunity, there's no memory cell. What I mean by memory cell is that the immune system, once you're affected by a disease, the immune system, the immune system would have produced some antibodies, then the immune system gonna store the information in terms of how to produce the antibodies, so that if in the future you're affected or you're reinfected by that disease, then the immune system definitely know how to produce the antibodies. Protection for active immunity is permanent. That should be from and not for. So protection from active immunity is permanent. Passive immunity is temporary, and that is why the natural passive that the baby would have received across the placenta or via breastfeeding, it only lasts up to approximately 6 months. Active immunity takes several weeks to become active, and that is why if you're vaccinated today, you're not being protected against the virus today. So it takes a while to activate. It takes some time. I'm not sure as to. I would have to research and tell you exactly how long after taking the virus, the corona vaccine. I think it's a few weeks, 4 weeks there about it before it starts to protect you, but not immediately. So that is why you can take the vaccine today and tomorrow you get the virus, because the vaccine don't protect you so quickly. And 5, passive immunity is immediate. So once you attach the word passive to a particular immunity, it means that it actually takes effect right away. Vaccination. What is vaccination now? And I've been explaining it over and over, but definitely we have some notes to back up the explanation. This is the use of dead or weakened pathogens to produce immunity to dangerous diseases. So as you can see, this newborn, this baby is getting vaccinated against whatever disease, because we have several diseases that persons are vaccinated against. So the vaccine contains a weakened or a dead pathogen. Alright, so that should do it in terms of immune system and vaccine. So in terms of immunity, protecting the human body against diseases, we have some chemical approach that we can use to protect ourselves by using different chemicals. So the chemical approach of controlling microorganism, because what the approach that we would have been looking at a while ago is basically the human body naturally, or our natural immune system protecting us against those diseases. But that is whenever the diseases would have entered the human body. So to prevent these diseases from entering the human body, then we can use a chemical approach from a chemical perspective. So they are saying disinfectants. So we use a lot of disinfectant whenever we are cleaning surfaces. For example, floor, for example, tabletop, any surfaces. So disinfectant normally kill microorganisms on the skin and in the environment. Reduce the spread of disease and the infection of wound. So you will realize that a lot of sanitization is taking place with this corona pandemic. So this so they are doing a lot of sanitization because they are using a lot of disinfectant, they're using a lot of alcohol, a lot of bleach. So all of these help to reduce the spread of the virus. It is used on floors, so disinfectant normally used on floors, normally used on surface. So let's say, for example, table, chair, you're wiping them off, you can use disinfectant. Disinfections mean reducing the number of living organisms present. So that's why they sanitize your hand whenever you're entering building, whenever you're entering compound. So they sanitize your hand with sanitizer or alcohol, simple because they are trying to reduce, they are trying to kill the microorganism that would have been on surfaces, for example, your on middle or whatever you're carrying around. The disinfectant normally able to penetrate, able to easily penetrate material to be disinfect without damaging or discoloring it. So you put it on the tile on the floor, it actually get rid of the microorganism, and at the same time don't burn out the floor. Because bleach can use as disinfectant. It is just that there's a disadvantage of using bleach because bleach burn out colors. So if you should spray some bleach on your clothes, then definitely it's gonna burn. It's gonna actually damage, burn out the color. So yeah, of course, bleach can be used as disinfectant, but you have to be careful as to what you use it on. You definitely cannot use it on surface or on material that will get burned out as a result of the chemical formula that is used to manufacture bleach. So antiseptic, this is another chemical that used to destroy microorganism. Chemical agent that are applied to living tissue to kill microbes or microorganism. Destroy or stop the reproduction of bacteria. So Listerine or what you call mouthwash, that is an example of an antiseptic. So antiseptic, these chemical they can use internally. You can use them on the skin. They don't destroy you. So kill microbes on your skin and over cut wound, preventing infection from getting into your tissues. So bleach, for example, you definitely cannot use you're not advised to use it internally like on the skin because it is too strong. But antiseptic definitely can use. So if I should ask you to list or state or give me examples of chemicals that can get rid of microorganisms, then you can tell me disinfectant as one, and you can definitely tell me an antiseptic. Just that there are different types of antiseptics. So let's say, for example, mouthwash or what you call Listerine. That is an example of an antiseptic. Antiseptics often sting. Sting means a burner. That's what the word sting means. So it sting, it burn your skin. And this is because they not only kill bacteria, they also damage human tissue slightly. So whenever you get a cut, for example, and you throw hydrogen peroxide or you throw um, purple lotion, iodine, if you should put those on the or any form of dressing, when you put it on the cut and you see it start to burn you, that means it is stinging you. So it also destroy just a smaller section of the human body tissue there. Antibiotics. So antibiotics are another chemical that can be used to get rid of diseases. So these are you know taking pill now. Antibiotics these can taken internally now. So chemicals which kill bacteria but do not damage human cells. They circulate in the blood and get to all the body tissues, including the site of infection. So definitely we have different chemicals that you can take to reduce or prevent disease from affecting you. Disinfectant, which we normally use disinfectant on floor and surface. And we have antiseptic, we normally use this like on the skin or open wound. And antibodies, definitely we normally take these orally, meaning that you take them in form of pill, you take it in format of medicine, or you can take it in format of powder, whichever. Once you take it orally, mean that you take it through the mouth and it enter your digestive system, and that is definitely antibiotics. Right, so in all, we have been looking at how to protect the human body against microorganisms. So that's the whole topic protecting your body against microorganism, which can be in the format of vaccine and definitely in the format of different different chemicals. Right. So